Have you ever had such a doubt? Why do some people always seem to turn misfortunes into blessings and have everything go smoothly, while others constantly struggle and face endless difficulties? Behind this lies a profound secret: the merit and blessings accumulated through virtuous deeds. Merit and blessings are not distant myths, but the accumulation of conditions in our lives, allowing wholesome actions and virtues to flow naturally. It is like a shadow that follows, influencing every aspect of our lives. However, merit and blessings are not inexhaustible. If one is careless, they may gradually and imperceptibly be lost. So, what exactly is silently depleting our merit? And how can we protect this precious blessing? The term karma is frequently mentioned in Buddhist scriptures, and it is closely related to the concept of merit and blessings. Wholesome karma brings blessings, while unwholesome karma diminishes blessings. Every thought, every word, and every action of ours shapes our karma, which in turn influences our destiny. As stated in the Avatamsaka Sutra, if one wishes to understand all Buddhas of the past, present, and future through contemplating the nature of the Dharma realm, perceive that all phenomena are created by the mind. Our thoughts are precisely what create merit. The following three kinds of behaviors, like an undercurrent, if not guarded against, can easily deplete the merit we have painstakingly accumulated. It is imperative to take caution and heed this warning. Desire is the primal force propelling human progress. However, if left unchecked to grow wild, it becomes a ferocious beast that devours one's blessings. Laozi warns us in the Tao Te Ching that the 5 colors can blind the eyes, the 5 sounds can deafen the ears, the 5 flavors can dull the palate, the pursuit of sweetness can drive the heart mad, and rare calamities cause the mind to be guarded. Excessive indulgence in sensory stimulation and the pursuit of material pleasures only lead us to lose ourselves and lose inner peace and tranquility. Indulgence in desires does not refer to extreme actions that violate laws or moral principles, but rather to the unrestrained and excessive gratification of one's desires in daily life, such as being addicted to sensual pleasures, pursuing a lavish lifestyle, endlessly satisfying gustatory cravings, or becoming engrossed in online gaming. These seemingly harmless behaviors are like boiling a frog in warm water, gradually eroding our willpower, corroding our mind, and ultimately leading to the loss of blessings. The Shurangama Sutra states, if lustful thoughts are not eliminated, the dust cannot be removed. Attachment to sensual desires clouds our wisdom, preventing us from seeing the true nature of things and making correct judgments. At the same time, indulgence in sensual pleasures depletes our vital energy and spirit, harms our physical health, and causes us to lose the motivation for positive and uplifting progress. One who indulges excessively in sensual pleasures often suffers from mental lethargy and diminished willpower, making it difficult to achieve any meaningful accomplishments. More importantly, indulging in sensual desires makes us selfish and self-centered, focusing solely on satisfying our own cravings while neglecting the feelings of others. This kind of selfish behavior undermines our relationships with others and causes us to lose their trust and support. A person who has lost the goodwill of others, no matter how much wealth and power they possess, will find it difficult to attain true happiness. Therefore, controlling desires is the key to safeguarding one's merit. We must learn to examine our desires, discerning which are reasonable needs and which are excessive cravings. For those unhealthy desires, we must firmly resist them and not allow them to control our actions. We can enhance our self-discipline by cultivating good living habits and establishing correct values. For example, maintaining regular physical exercise, adhering to a healthy diet, reading beneficial books, participating in meaningful activities, and so forth. At the same time, we must also learn to transform desire into the driving force for progress. We can transform the pursuit of material possessions into the pursuit of our career, creating greater value through our own efforts and contributing to society. We can transform sensory indulgence into an appreciation of art, thereby elevating our spiritual realm through the enjoyment of beautiful things. Only when we are able to properly guide and manage our desires can we avoid falling into the trap of indulgence, safeguard our karmic blessings, and let our lives be filled with sunlight and hope. Secondly, there is the uncontrollable greed. Greed is a mindset of perpetual dissatisfaction, like a bottomless pit that can never be filled. Those who are excessively greedy always have an overwhelming pursuit of wealth, power, and status, as if the more they possess, the greater their sense of security and happiness. However, the reality often turns out to be quite the opposite. Zhuangzi once incisively pointed out that seeking wealth leads to gaining power through greed, and seeking authority leads to oppression through greed. Excessive craving for wealth invites danger, while attachment to power exhausts one's energy and merit, ultimately leading to endless suffering. A philosopher once said, "For those who are never content, no chair is comfortable." A greedy person, no matter how much material wealth and power they possess, can never attain true contentment and inner peace. They are always lost in the pursuit of more, losing their original intention and direction, falling into endless anxiety and suffering. In the Diamond Sutra, it is mentioned, "Arise the mind without abiding anywhere." It means that we should let go of attachment to all things and maintain a pure and tranquil mind. Greed is precisely the attachment to material possessions and power. It clouds our wisdom and prevents us from seeing the true nature of things. A person controlled by greed often pursues their own interests by any means, even at the expense of others' well-being. Such selfish and harmful behavior not only damages our relationships with others, but also burdens us with heavy karmic consequences, ultimately resulting in the loss of merit and blessings. Throughout the course of history, there are countless stories of people losing their present blessings due to greed. Those corrupt officials, in order to satisfy their own selfish desires, did not hesitate to engage in embezzlement and bribery, ultimately leading to their disgrace and imprisonment. Those profit-driven merchants, in pursuit of higher gains, resort to deceit and fraud, ultimately losing their credibility and facing bankruptcy. These stories are like mirrors reflecting the dangers and consequences of greed. Greed is like a double-edged sword. While it harms others, it continuously diminishes one's own merit and blessings. It causes us to overlook our true inner needs in the pursuit of material wealth and power, leading to the loss of authenticity and happiness in life. When our eyes are blinded by greed, we become selfish and narrow-minded, focusing only on our own interests without regard for the feelings of others. Such behavior not only damages our relationships with others, but also leads us into a state of isolation and helplessness. Therefore, we must always be vigilant against the erosion caused by greed and learn to be content and find joy in sufficiency. Contentment does not mean being complacent or lacking ambition. Rather, it means maintaining a calm and steady mind during the pursuit of goals, without being swayed by excessive desires. We must understand that wealth, power, and similar external possessions are merely transient. True happiness and contentment arise from inner peace and kindness. We can reduce our greed through the practice of the Dharma. For example, learning generosity involves sharing one's wealth and time with those in need. Practicing meditation helps calm the mind, preventing it from being disturbed by external temptations. And cultivating wisdom enables one to see the true nature of things, no longer being deceived by illusory appearances. When we learn to cherish everything we have and feel grateful for the small blessings in life, we realize that life has already given us much, and there is no need for us to greedily demand more. Finally, there are the concealed evil thoughts. Deep within our hearts, sometimes impure thoughts arise inexplicably. These thoughts are like ghosts hidden in the darkness, silently eroding our minds and becoming invisible killers of merit. The arising of unwholesome thoughts is not accidental. They often originate from suppressed desires, negative emotions, and mistaken perceptions deeply rooted within our minds. From a psychological perspective, when we encounter setbacks, injustice, or stress in life, the inner balance is disrupted, allowing malevolent thoughts to take advantage. The manifestations of unwholesome thoughts are diverse. They can be fleeting malevolent ideas, such as cursing others or taking pleasure in their misfortunes, or they can be long-standing negative thought patterns, such as persistently harboring ill will, constantly suspecting others, and being filled with resentment toward the world. Although these unwholesome thoughts are not acted upon, they continuously grow deep within our minds, corroding our hearts and ultimately influencing our behavior and destiny. In the Chittagarbha Sutra, it is mentioned that sentient beings who are difficult to subdue in their every action and thought, there's nothing but karma and nothing but sin. It means that every action we take and every thought we have are creating karma. Even the slightest lustful thought can produce negative effects and diminish our merit. In Buddhist thought, all phenomena in the world are created by the mind. All fields of merit are not separate from the mind's realm. Our thoughts determine our actions and destiny. Evil thoughts are like a malicious seed. Once planted in our heart, they take root, sprout, and bear harmful fruit. In Liao Fan's Four Lessons, it is mentioned that a person's destiny is determined by their own actions and thoughts. If we frequently generate evil thoughts, we will plant the seeds of unwholesome causes, thereby attracting harmful consequences and depleting our accumulated merit. Evil thoughts not only affect our inner world, but also trigger a chain reaction in our daily lives. It can cause our emotions to become negative, strain interpersonal relationships, and even lead us to make wrong decisions, thereby bringing harm to ourselves and others. A person filled with evil thoughts often attracts negative energy and encounters unfortunate events. His life seemed trapped in a vicious cycle, with his merit and blessings gradually depleted amid the ever-growing waves of unwholesome thoughts. The harm of evil thoughts is immense. They are like an invisible knife that unknowingly cuts through the pocket of our merit, gradually leading our lives into hardship. Therefore, we must always remain vigilant against the arising of unwholesome thoughts and learn to be aware of our own mind. When unwholesome thoughts arise, promptly adjust your mindset and use kindness and compassion to transform them. We can purify our minds and eliminate evil thoughts through the practice of the Dharma. For example, cultivating compassion involves developing love and empathy for others. Practicing patience means learning tolerance and understanding. And fostering mindfulness requires maintaining constant awareness, preventing negative thoughts from controlling one's actions. At the same time, we must also learn to be grateful, appreciating everything in life, including those things that cause us discomfort or displeasure, because these matters can help us grow and enhance our wisdom. When we face life with a heart of gratitude, our inner being becomes filled with sunshine and positive energy, leaving no place for evil thoughts to hide. So, how should we safeguard our merit? The answer is actually quite simple. It lies in every small choice and every small action in our daily lives. We must learn to restrain our desires, maintain a moderate lifestyle, and not be enslaved by material possessions and cravings. When faced with temptation, welcome to the boundless Dharma I offer. We must constantly be vigilant against the arising of unwholesome thoughts and learn to observe our own minds. When unwholesome thoughts arise, do not let them grow unchecked. Instead, use a positive attitude and constructive thinking to transform and resolve them. We can elevate our state of mind through meditation, reading, and exchanging ideas with others, allowing our hearts to be filled with light and kindness. Protecting merit is a practice that requires our wholehearted cultivation. Let us begin from this moment, starting with ourselves, reducing lustful thoughts, restraining greed, eliminating evil intentions, and using concrete actions to protect and accumulate our own merit and blessings. I believe that as long as each of us makes such efforts, our lives will undoubtedly become better, and our society will be filled with more positive energy. The accumulation of blessings and merits is not achieved overnight, but is a long-term practice of perseverance. It requires us to remain vigilant at all times, constantly reflect on our actions and thoughts, promptly correct our mistakes, and actively engage in virtuous deeds and accumulate merit. When we are able to accomplish these, our blessings will flow like a gentle stream. Welcome to my Dharma course. Plant good causes, reap good fruits. Planting evil causes, one reaps evil results. All phenomena arise from the cycle of cause and effect, without the slightest deviation. You reap what you sow. The future you wish to have begins with the seeds you plant right now.